Good morning all. I should have brought my sunglasses. It's pretty bright this morning and a low sun. It's about 7 o'clock, bank holiday Monday morning. Get out before the masses. Mary's Meadows, Heath Spotted Orchids. The ambitious part of me says Frog Orchid, maybe even a chalk fragrant orchid, who knows. Those are my sort of 3 targets for today, but it's mainly Heath Spotteds. Hopefully I've caught them early enough so that they're at their most colourful, not too tangled up with the common spotteds that also grow on the same site to cause me mass confusion in identification. So that's the plan. And yeah, weather's a bit sort of sunshine and showers today, so I need to be lucky there as well, but feeling confident. I think this could be a good trip. I don't know why I think that, but yeah, I've just got a positive vibe about today. Things are going to happen. Let's see. Still see lots of bits of purple in the Mary's Meadows green-winged orchid field ahead of us. I mean, they're all over. Well, pretty much gone over. But still bits and bobs left. The end of their season. I think that one deserves an award for the last flowering green-winged orchid at Mary's Meadows. Still in good nick, and we're nearly in June. That's a good effort. Another one, still going strong. I was reading up on something on social media a couple of days ago. Somebody was trying to explain how you can't possibly have common spotted and Heath spotted orchids growing at the same site. And I knew where they were coming from. You know, common spotteds like their feet in a sort of alkaline soil, and we're on limestone bedrock here. We're on a sort of narrow belt of limestone. There's a few limestone quarries in this area. So it makes sense for there to be common spotted orchids here and chalk fragrant orchids, or the odd chalk fragrant orchid. It doesn't make sense to have Heath spotted orchids here, so they like a sort of neutral to acidic soil, so they don't generally mix, but I've seen sites where they do, places like Buxton Heath in Norfolk that has a good head of both types of spotted orchid, but that's because Buxton Heath has a stream coming in off the sort of more acidic moorland on the one side of the site, and another stream coming in on the other side, which is clearly more alkaline based. So I don't know the reason here. At Mary's Meadows, I've studied it and looked for streams, looked for anything that might provide a base for Heath spotted orchids, and I can't find it. It's one of those intriguing mysteries really as to what they're doing here. But they're most welcome because there aren't really any Heath spotted orchid sites around here. There's a couple around the sort of top end of Leicestershire, or Leicester itself, and that's about it. So always a pleasure to have them here, and always look forward to coming and seeing them. I can see a lot of orchids up in front. Let's go and check what's at the bottom first, or I'll miss these out. They actually look like common spotted. But they're not. They're Heath Spotted. It's a Heath Spotted Orchid. I was going to say Heath Spotted Orchid, but there's some fairly classic common spotted markings on the leaves there. Oh, sorry, on the flowers there. So I try to avoid calling things hybrids when I'm not 100% sure, but that has the potential of being a hybrid between the common spotted and Heath Spotted. That's a classically marked. Okay, it's a bit of a drab white, as many of them will be, but it's classically marked in terms of the spots, compared with that previous one, which had quite a bold set of lines that you'd see more on a common spotted. But this is how a Heath Spotted should look. A real scattergun approach to spots on the flowers. A nice pink spotted Heath Spotted Orchid. Apologies for the wind. Wow, that is very nice indeed. Heath Spotted Orchid, and large. You don't usually get them growing as stout as this. They've obviously been going for a while. They're usually, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches tall on average here. This one's nearly a foot tall. It's a big one, very nice. A couple of young plants there are only just opening. You can see the point I was making earlier about the colour. It's a subtle colour, but it's a nice pink, rose pink colour. If I come back in a week's time, I'll guarantee you that'll be off-white. You know, the colour drains very fast. You need to catch them when they're first coming out. I'm a little bit late by the looks this year, but there's going to be a few colourful ones dotted around, I'm sure. It's a nice collection of whatever colour you want to call that. It's almost a soft lilac. Young plants, but looking good. It's a lovely sight, Mary's Meadows, particularly down here on the lower field. Can't ever recollect seeing anybody down here, especially if you're here early in the morning. It's very peaceful, very quiet, and plenty of orchids to keep you entertained. Good numbers as ever down here of Heath Spotted. Probably a few more than I saw last year. That's nice. Spot overload on that one. Another definitely, maybe, possibly hybrid between the Heath Spotted and common spotted. It's certainly not a whole bunch of spots on those flowers, as you can see, if the wind stopped blowing. There's some very strong markings on there. That's a good candidate for a hybrid between the two, but they're tough to be too sure about. That looks good for a hybrid. You compare that last one to this one, which is sort of classically spotted for a Heath Spotted. Great markings on that one. Some nice colour in that one. Bit unusual, they're nearly all whitish. That's good. Another one in the potential hybrid category. Another definitely maybe on the hybrid front. I think that's near as damn it a white. I've only ever seen a white Heath Spotted Orchid once. That was in a very early trip here many years ago. I mean, there's hints of a bit of lilac blush at the top, but that's very, very close to being a white if it isn't a white. I'll certainly take that one. There's certainly no patterns or spots on it that I can see. So yeah, quite chuffed to see one of those. That's very nice, I like that one. Strongly coloured, strongly marked. Heath Spotted at his best, that. Another nice colourful one, little tiddler. Another in a definitely maybe a hybrid category with those markings. It's a classically marked common spotted orchid, but it's a Heath Spotted Orchid, so if that's not a hybrid then I would give up. Nice markings on that one. Yeah, excellent as ever. Probably a few more here than there were last year and the year before, so good numbers. I know they've turned up in good numbers further south, so I had fingers crossed. So yeah, very impressive. I think probably a few days later than I needed to be. Season's a wee bit earlier than last year with these Heath Spotted, so there's a lot of whites, a lot of, not pure whites I mean a lot of faded whites, and not too many with a lot of colour in, but there's enough there to keep me interested, and always love Heath Spotted Orchids, and there are, as you saw, very many of them here. Couldn't find chalk fragrant orchid. It's a very weird sight to have chalk fragrant orchids in. They're certainly not good bedfellows with, or obvious bedfellows with Heath Spotted Orchids, but I'm told they're here. And last year I saw a photograph. I say they, I don't think there's many, may only be one. But I saw a photograph last year, so one year I'll see it, but not to be today. Right, I'm not going to wrap up without doing the annual attempt to find the Merry's Meadow Frog Orchid. I've not seen it now for what, 4 years, something like that, so go and give it a try and see if it's turned up for me. Well, it's in here somewhere. It always is. I'm just so useless I can never find it. But we'll have a scratch around. I can see some Twayblades. Yeah, they are the first Twayblades I've seen this season. Common Twayblade. It's got another one next door if I can get to it. The frustrating thing here is you know it's here. I mean, there used to be a couple here. I'm not sure there are now, but you kind of know it's here. And you know it's looking at you, but you can't see it. Someone said last year there was a stick in the ground that marked it, but there's no sticks that I can see. I don't really like trampling too much in here, because if I can't see it, I'm more likely to tread on the damn thing. But looks like another year of failure. Ah. Ha ha ha. Spoke too soon. I see a frog orchid. I don't think it's the one I saw last time. I'm sure it wasn't here. It was further down. There it is. Centre screen. No wonder I can't find the damn things. There you go. I'll say a Mary's Meadow frog orchid, because I think this is in a different location to the one that I saw in previous years, which is good news because there could be more than one, as there used to be. Barely opening yet, although I think the lower flowers maybe, but there's certainly buds on the top still to come, so there's a few weeks of this one for those that want to come and try and find it. Great to see it though. Right, that's it I think. Yeah, Heath Spotted Orchid's really good. Lots of them, good numbers. They're going to be around for a couple of weeks if you're coming down, well worth seeing. Frog Orchid, brilliant. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Pleased to have seen that first time in God knows how many years. Do be careful if you come looking for that. There's a lot of trampling going on down there, so it probably would help if you get some steer as to where it is rather than trampling it all flat to find it, because it's very easy to put a foot on that. It's quite a diminutive thing even when you're very close to it. So, but delighted to have seen it. And I think, I don't know, I got the impression it was a new one. For me, I was pretty sure the one I saw many years ago was not there. So there could be more than one, you never know, which would be great news. But that's it, that's this morning's trip done. Thank you for coming along and sharing it with me, and I will be out again. Not sure it'll be this week. Knowing me, it probably will be towards the end of the week, but certainly next week. We're into June. That's dactyloriser season, and most definitely amongst other trips will be Castor Hanglands, and I look forward to that one. So as I say, thanks for coming along, and I will see you again next time out.